Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dean's Chat, where we discuss all things podiatric medicine. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Jensen. I'm the Dean at the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine and the host for the Dean's Chat podcast. I have a phenomenal interview today with two colleagues. One, Dr. Richard Walburg, classmate of mine from the California College of Podiatric Medicine. Welcome to Dean's Chat, Dick.
Thank you so very much, Jeff.
And also, previous student, Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine, class of 2022, Dr. Andrew Baum. Andrew, welcome to Dean's Chat.
Good to see you again, Dr. Jensen. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, it's fabulous. So we've talked over the years, Dick, about doing this. And Andrew, you and I have been talking about running and academics and everything since 2018, I guess. And so I really appreciate both of you jumping on Dean's Chat. I thought we'd talk a little podiatry, a little work-life balance, a little running and ultramarathoning. 35, 45 minutes is going to go by fast. So Andrew, let's start with you. You came to the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine. I remember when you came in as a freshman, and now you're getting ready to leave residency and head off to be in the working world.
That's right. Yeah. The paths we take in life, we don't expect them, and then if we just keep doing the right thing, it can lead us to opportunities. And a lot of what my director, Stan Mathis, teaches me now in residency is when you have good opportunities, take them. And usually life unfolds before you.
So tell us a little bit, everybody knows about the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine. We talk about that all the time. Tell us about your residency and then the job pursuit that's leading to your upcoming move.
Yeah. So I'm currently at a program called Adventist Health White Memorial. It's based in Boyle Heights in East Los Angeles. Great program. We actually have, I think there's a core set up with the Arizona Podiatric School, but that's with our limb salvage arm over at USC with Dr. Shin and Armstrong. Right. But the program itself has been great. The nitty gritty, we're trained very well clinically as well as surgically. Our numbers were finished by the end of our first year. A lot of we have a lot of expectant driving attendings that push us always forward, academically. And our directors involved Dr. Armstrong doing some clinical research. So there's also that arm as well. But most importantly, what I've found is I'm happy. The people in East Los Angeles are a population that needs help. And I think that's what gives me the most happiness in life, is helping los Chicanos from El Barrio in East LA. So
well, there you go. And when you and I are texting over the last few years, I always appreciate you sending me pictures. I've kind of watched your family grow for the last 6 years or so.
That's right. We had my first child was born at Abrazo Arrowhead in Phoenix, and the second one born at Thunderbird Banner in Phoenix. And then we had our third child here during second year. So I had a child first year, third year, and second year residency with a wife who is, the heart and soul of the family. So
yeah, I was going to say she's your better half for sure.
Wait, yes, yeah. Much better half. And we made a priority to have a family and be there for them, and that's the most important thing in my life is the kids and the wife.
That's awesome. So Dick, going back, 30 years or so, 30 plus years, right?
Yes.
You and I went to school in California together. We were just talking before we started the podcast. We'd go running on weekends and in the Marin Highlands and from the concrete jungle of San Francisco down through Golden Gate Park. Great memories of running and practicing afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, after residency, I was able to go to Atlanta and get a great position and get able to be certified really quickly, and then go back to California. So
how long have you been at Kaiser now?
I started in 1997, so 28 years. I won't be long that'll be over, I think, but it's been a nice run. Yeah.
You met your better half there too.
I did. We interviewed for the same position, and they decided they needed to have two people, and that could not have worked out better for me.
Well, that's phenomenal because I thoroughly enjoy interviewing podiatry power couples. Tell us about how that's worked. I mean, you dated, got married, you do practice together in the same environment. How does that work?
It has actually worked tremendously, and I think it could have been really toxic, but it never has been. We've worked very well together, and uh, for the last couple of years, I've been chief of the department, which again was something that we tried not to do. Didn't want to be put in a position of potential trouble, but it's been perfect. So really nice.
That's fabulous. So just for our listeners, about 2 weeks ago, I was on social media and Dick was posting some pictures from a race that you and Melanie did. And I commented and we started talking, going back and forth. And I told Dick I had done a 12-hour ultra race about a month ago in Wisconsin. And the next thing you know, Andrew, you and I were going to schedule this and talk about some running. And then we had to cancel a couple weeks ago. So I just figured we'd get us all together today. And this would be great. Andrew, back to you. Tell us about the job search and where your family's heading come July.
Oh, this is pretty cool. So I got nervous because I got, the pressure of fatherhood, three little kids. So I started looking for a job, I want to say in March, my second year. So like me and my buddies, Nate, Clyde, and Tyler Holbar, we got our CVs and we were way too early, but we were just out in the grind.
Right.
Both, cold calling hospitals where we wanted to work or just sending out resumes. And so the hospital in my hometown, LeGrand, Oregon, um, they have a position at the ortho clinic for a podiatrist. And so I talked to the CEO in July, and they didn't have any openings and nothing on the horizon. But I stayed in contact. And then in November, after a couple other great jobs kind of fell through, I was really hoping that those were going to work out. All of a sudden, I get a bump from the CEO who mentioned, "Hey, we have a position possibly opening up. We'd love to have you apply, see if you like the fit." And it's pretty cool because, I'm down here in East LA, county of 11 million people, and I'm going home. The hospital I was born in, 25-bed hospital. My grandfather helped build it. He was chairman of the board, so it's like this. Life is a full circle.
Hmm.
So my wanderings have led me back to, obviously, to where I need to be. So the job is, and it's actually very Kaiser-esque, Doc. It's like, 410s, scheduled
Oh
OR
yeah.
time, stuff like that. Not a lot of call, not a lot of infection. So not that I don't know what your practice, but that was kind of what I was familiar about with Kaiser. But yeah, I start July 21st. I'm just grateful that I'll be able to provide for the family and help my people, because that's kind of been an intergenerational theme of my ancestors, is helping out service, and so this is a way I can come back. In fact, this is kind of cool. I think I'm the first resident of LeGrand to come back as a physician and live in LeGrand. There's been some other dentists who grew up, but the first one to come back and be a doc there. So
Wow.
Very
That's a great story.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Where's your wife from?
She's actually from Paradise. She's from Laguna Niguel, South Orange
Okay.
County, but her parents have left, and so we have a sister down there, but no other in-laws down there. She's happy.
Life is good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we got kind of the podiatry stuff out of the way. Let's start talking about some running. So Dick, since you and I were in school, I mean, how you've been running the whole time, right? You're doing races and
No, actually, I did. Steve and I did. Oh no, all three of us. We did Boston in '96.
yep.
And then 97, I met Melanie, and she went to the gym. And so I went to the gym with her for 20 years.
Oh,
And
you weren't running at all?
no, not at all.
Oh,
But I had a friend. He kind of shamed me into signing up for a 10K, and we did a 10K in 2017. I did, I should say. And then it was a couple of years after that. Melanie did 2 miles here, 3 miles there. And then one Thursday she said, I want to do a half marathon. on Sunday. And so 3 days later, she did a half marathon. And then I guess a couple of years after that, she did her first 50K. And she's done, quite a bit since then.
Wow. So your body's held together.
Truly, I'd been offered a knee replacement.
Oh, no kidding.
But don't need it. I mean, I've decided. But there's also an association with cardiac arrhythmias with long-term athletes, and I'm one of them.
Oh.
So yeah, it's I'm still doing it, but it's a little scary sometimes.
Dick, I have this lasting impression of you and I and a bunch of us from the college running the Napa Valley Marathon in a freezing rainstorm.
Oh,
and Andrew, you'll like this. When we finished, we didn't know where the key was. One of us had the key, right, to the car, and but it was freezing cold. And I remember going in the tent, and they had these sweatshirts available, and I was like begging, I'm like, please let me wear that sweatshirt. I promise you, I'll come back and pay you for it, because I was freezing. I was like hypothermic. But that was just one of the many adventures I recall. And then Dick, as life would have it, Andrew comes to the Arizona College, and then he told me one day they were doing some research online and said, I didn't know you ran Leadville and things like that. And then so I was kind of living vicariously through Andrew and Oliver from his class, because they were going off and doing 100Ks, and they'd come back to class and they weren't even limping really. They're just kind of like, oh, to be young again. So Andrew, give us a little feel for what it was like coming here, finding some running partners, running in Arizona, doing all those races.
Yeah, it was great. I kind of started running randomly off the cuff. My brother encouraged me to sign up for about like in 2011, a 50K. And then I kind of fell in and out. I do like adventure runs, go hit a peak with my family members, whatever. And then with the rigid schedule of school is when I actually started hitting it early. And then actually it was Oliver Nauer, who is a much better runner than I'll ever be. He started encouraging me, and we started kind of having this healthy competition. And there's a park just north of the school called Thunderbird, and we jokingly call it the Thunder Turd, because it's that great Phoenix lava rock, not a clean trail, not really big hills, but it's just like piss and vinegar, and you do it every day, and it just pushed us. And so you got better at technical, and what ended up happening is Oliver was like, hey buddy, you gotta try to qualify for Western. There's a Western qualifier called Black Canyon 100K, that's just up the like 60 miles up the highway from Phoenix. And so I ended up running that 4 times in a row every year at school. Oliver did it 3 or 4 as well. And then during that year, during school, we both ran 100-milers. And so during the summer in Phoenix, you just have to run in the morning, but I kind of liked it. And then to get elevation, we drive up to Flag, and we'd go run up Humphreys. A couple times I took him into the Grand Canyon doing the Cowboy Loop, which is down the Kaibab to the river up the Bright Angel. But running is just something that I love the bare bones of it. You just need shoes, but it's also was like I always call it my self-medication, my SSRI. Just you take it every day. I know I need therapy. I know I probably need some medication, but I just keep running instead.
So, I can see you get it into your schedule. I mean, Dick, we ran all the time in school, and then all of a sudden 4th year hit, and we're off on rotations, and we're running around going to clinics, and it kind of became catch as catch can. Did you have the same experience with clerkships and in residency, or do you still have a pretty good schedule?
Residency is probably about 4 or 5 times a week. I just got to get up at 4:30 and run. And actually, me and my wife chose an apartment here in California that's near 2 trailheads, like a mile out of my door. So I get my trails in that way. But I got to tell another story about Oliver. I was at White Memorial. He was down at Scripps. It was late Friday night, and we had been kicking around doing a famous trail called Cactus to Clouds in Palm Springs.
Okay.
Biggest prominence on the continental United States. It's like 10,000 feet in 11 miles or something insane. Usually people take a tram. So Oliver and I finished our week I finished surgery at 11:30, and we drove out and met at Palm Springs at 1:30 a.m. in the middle of July in Palm Springs, and then proceeded to hike San Jacinto. So
I love it.
and I just remember wanting to die. I remember the sun rose about 4:30, and Oliver said, "I've never felt so sick," and we just kept going. But that's that's why we
Mind
do
over
it.
matter. Mind over matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done Cactus to Clouds, but in November.
Okay.
The line, no way.
It was terrible. It was
Gosh.
July, middle of the night. We were tired, and yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go back, but it was a good trail.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Dick, what are you and Melanie doing now? What are your training weeks look like?
Right around 50 miles a week. And I mean, the whole thing is evolving around the long weekends. And
Okay.
when I say 2 long runs in the weekends, usually, I mean, I get up at 5 and I do try to get 3 to 5 in the morning. But Melanie also is involved with Adidas runners. And so she has obligations on Wednesday afternoons or Wednesday evenings. And then again, some of the weekend time is she's involved with the group and has responsibilities with that. So
I have a question for you, Dick. I mean, when you get home and you're cooking dinner, you're off on weekends, are you talking podiatry ever, or is that just like off the table?
I have a bad habit of talking. She's very good at talking. There are certain things that you live. I mean, you experience it. You have to get it off your chest.
True.
Yeah.
So do you guys do surgery together?
We really never assist each other. No.
Okay.
We don't assist each other. Actually, the whole group, we all do our own stuff. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
What group are you at, Dick? Or what Kaiser are you at?
I'm at Kaiser Sunset, or Los Angeles Medical Center.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay. We rotated with the Panorama City guys, Pan City. I was there for 2 months. We rotated with Prestridge and Stillwell and those docs.
Yes, great, nice.
Yeah.
We have a little bit smaller group and an older group, I guess I would say. But yeah, that's nice. It's a lot of work to be a residency director, or I mean, I'm grateful that they're doing that with you. It's really a great thing.
How many students you having out there these days, Andrew?
We have sometimes up to 3. Right now we have 2, so we average about 2 or 3 a month, which is pretty good.
So are you going to go up to Oregon and start a residency program?
I'm gonna. I
don't mean to put you on the spot.
No. I don't know if there's the volume.
Fair.
Actually, what's cool is Jackson Law, a graduate from 2021. He's just 60 miles up the branch at another rural hospital. So he's up there in Eastern Oregon with me as well.
I did not realize Jackson was up there.
Yeah, so I don't know how he ended up there, being from, like Tri-Cities, Mesa area, Chandler, Gilbert, but he ended up very rural.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
I remember when he had the baby, they were bringing him up to the office and stuff, and it's great. But I haven't talked to Jackson in years. That's great.
Yeah. He's doing great.
All right, sounds good. So anyway, I had a little story for you guys. Last summer, I was out with my brother having a couple beers, and he convinced me into sign up for this 12-hour run in Kettle Moraine in Wisconsin, just out of Milwaukee. And so I was training for it. I was doing a lot of like speed walking and stuff because I knew it'd be snowy and hilly. And my brother ended up not being able to do it, but I met Ken Greenberg, who I've done a lot of races with up in Alaska and different places. And we did the 12-hour event. And it was painful because we did a 2.5-mile loop, and then you just keep doing the loop. And the tendency was to want to go in and get a little bit warm. You get all comfortable, then you got to go back out and be cold and all that. So I feel like I'm worthy to be on this call with you guys because I did that about a month ago.
Jeff, you are so worthy.
Is that the one where you can't, if you what would you, I think you told me a similar story where the pants would freeze and you couldn't squat, or you'd have to squat so the denim would break or something. What was that
No,
story,
those were the
Dr. Jensen?
shoes. Those were your tennis shoes. Like if you took a break, like in Alaska, it would be -20, and you kneeled down so that, your shoe bent at the MPJ region, you would freeze, and then when you stood up, it wouldn't want to go straight again. That's just craziness. I mean, that's like a different life ago. But
They call those plated shoes now.
no, yeah, they do. Right on. So anyway,
Good.
I brought this for you guys. It was called the Arctos 612 and 20-hour
24.
run. No, 20. I don't know why not 24. 12 hours I had my fill-in, no doubt. In fact, we didn't even go in and get warm after the last couple of loops because I was afraid I'd just stiffen up and not be like, get out and warm up again. I don't generate heat. I don't know if you are, Dick, you wouldn't know. You're in LA, but I don't generate heat like I did when I was younger out there.
Yeah.
No, that reminded me of I gotta tell a story because it involves Oliver as well. So first semester at school, we had this isn't the best academic story. Sorry, Dr. Jensen. I had a 4.0 and then I had a child. My child came during the second semester. And what happened is 3 weeks before the Black Canyon 100K, I got acute appendicitis, appendectomy, Saturday, and then took all my finals that week following. And then 3 weeks later, went and ran the Black Canyon 100K, and it was an awful, awful experience.
Oh,
but I finished. That's all that matters, right? Is the
absolutely.
And I just remember Oliver. Half the reason was like, I can't let Oliver down. I can't let him be the only one out here finishing. I gotta. But in some ways, running has become to me the easiest part of my life, even if post appendectomy. Because I guess I was running from a lot of things back then, and it helps you process.
Absolutely. Dick, we never shirked our academic responsibilities to go for a run.
No, but really, we worked it out. I mean,
we did. Yeah.
We did study. I mean, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I sense you're about to tell a story.
Well, no, actually, I was thinking of all of the people involved, and sometimes, no story. Sorry.
That's incredible, because I remember when we would oftentimes we'd go for runs and study, and you're right, and we really put academics first as much as possible, Andrew. But you'll be surprised to hear me say this, but I used to tell my kids this: don't let school get don't let school get in the way of your education. And that's a lot of truth to that sometimes, especially when their kids are little, because they remember doing stuff with mom and dad more than they remember going to class sometimes. So, all right. Well, hey, I just wanted to get us all together. Thought it'd be fun to chat. Any last comments, Dick? What do you tell a student who is in undergrad contemplating a career in podiatric medicine?
It can be quite a nice life balance. There is, emergencies, and you do get to cut feet off in the middle of the night sometimes, but it's a good choice. I think that one of the most attractive residencies for medical doctors is dermatology, simply because there aren't that many emergencies. And I mean, again, in a big metropolitan area, there are plenty of people with diabetes, and emergencies happen, certainly. But maybe rural Oregon, not so. Andrew, I'll hope a little bit, but not too much for you.
Andrew, what do you tell students if you interface with undergrads contemplating a career in podiatric medicine?
As someone who has yet to practice, but these 7 years of my life have been a crucible for good, because this career has changed who I am as a man, made me more caring, in podiatry is great because you can do what you want with it. You can you can choose your lifestyle. You can, like Dick was talking about, you can do a lot of limb salvage, you can do ortho, you can do all these routes. And so it's dynamic that way. And you can measure that to your situation in life. So I'd recommend, podiatry is a great way to make a living. Unfortunately, the population's only getting more ill, and it's a stable career. And like you said, we only are, like Dick was saying, how grateful I am that we only do surgery on feet, and how post-op complications are stressful, but in reality, it's way better than opening the chest and being in the boiler room or making a mistake on a vertebrae or
Sure.
all that. Yeah.
That's well said. And, I also comment to students. When we interviewed today at the college this morning, and, they talk about their shadowing experiences, and we require students to shadow other podiatrists so they know what they're getting into. And, so many podiatrists are in different settings, whether it's hospital setting, private practice, sports medicine, surgical, non-surgical. And I think the common theme I hear is that podiatrists are happy because they've tailored their practice to what they like to do. And there's a lot to be said for that, because that's not always the case in, primary care, for example. You deal with what you deal with every day. So I always tell students, if you want to have options, it's always good to keep your options open, get the best training you can, and then the world's your oyster, kind of. No, what do you think of that, Andrew?
Oh no, I agree. I think that's right. Like, just the dynamicism of our different attendings at our program.
There you go.
Limb salvage. Yeah. We got ortho guys. We got a sports med, Dr. Martina Randall, who just does that. Is private practice. We got the group, we got the mega group, we got the hospitalist. So it's pretty great.
Does it surprise you guys that so many of our applicants are either athletes or exercise science, exercise physiology? Does that surprise you at all?
No, doesn't surprise me at all. It would be, you and I were both physical education majors. My introduction to podiatry was through being an athletic trainer.
Right, so, right. And mine was exercise physiology. I was getting my master's degree.
Yeah.
So it's funny how that works. Andrew, your thoughts on athletes and exercise science majors going into podiatry?
Oh, I think it's, whether we recognize it or not, we're happiest when we're healthy and active. And I think we're trying to help you get into podiatry because it's a way to help others fulfill that same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've done a whole bunch of market research at the APMA level, and you can look at you look at legacy students, people with family in podiatry. You look at athletes, you look at college athletes, and then you look at just pre-meds, and oftentimes it's the previous two, the athletes and those that have been treated, or families involved in podiatric medicine, where that's a predominant number of our applicants to the colleges. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, plans for running over the next year. Dick, what you got on the calendar?
I got a marathon on Saturday.
Oh, you do? Which one?
Lake Sonoma. They have a 50-miler and a marathon and a half marathon. And we had considered the 50-miler, and I'm so grateful that we're doing the marathon.
So I have a question for you, Dick. Well, what's the plan of attack here? Do you like walk the hills and run the flats and downs, or what is your game plan?
I am first. I let everyone else get ahead of me.
Good. I like that.
I definitely walk the hills, and I reel them in.
There you go.
It's more fun to reel them in than to let them pass you at the end.
I like Walt Stack's old saying, start slow and taper.
Well, he also talked about Irish arthritis, stiffening of all the joints but one.
Oh, geez. This is typically a PG rated show. So Andrew, your plans for the next year running wise? I know you got a lot on your plate.
Oh yeah, no, just trying to sneak in a 100K. The Fire's canceled, or I know Dick was saying Postpone. When your wife, which one? She ran it in February.
It was, I can't remember if it was February or I guess it was February. Yeah, the 25, whichever one it was. I don't remember the date.
She did the 100K, the Sean O'Brien 100K.
She did the 100K. Yes.
How'd she do? How'd it go?
Well, there was a landslide the night before or so, which cut the course by about 2 miles.
She's so lucky.
She's so lucky.
I love that. I love when that happens. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, I think that was 16,000 elevation or something along those lines. But she made it with at least 5 minutes to spare. so
Nice. Yeah.
Very, very grateful.
What was a bummer this year is they postponed it, and the week they postponed it to, we had campsites at Joshua Tree with the family. So I couldn't do it, but I'm on a wait list for something called the Quicksilver 100K up in Santa Clara.
Yeah, I did the Quicksilver 50K back 35 years ago.
Yeah, so it's next month, and I'm hoping I'm at like 25, 20 on the wait list. So I'm trying to get in, and I'm also signed up for the Miwok 100K, but I don't know if that will happen.
Great.
All with the eventual goal, Dr. Jensen, of entering the lottery in Western next November and getting drawn out, because I'll have 8 tickets, which is something like 36 tickets or something. Anyway, hopefully next June will be the year I can go run Western States, but we'll see.
Times have changed, the lottery situation, the numbers. I'll just give you a quick little story. In 1985, I was out in Colorado. My wife and I were en route to San Diego to start grad school. And I was running a lot. I was in great shape. So they had the Leadville Trail 100, which was only a couple of years old. And they only had like 60 people signed up. And I talked to the race director one day in Leadville, and I said, hey, if I wanted to sign up for that race next week, do you care? And he had 2 comments. He said, well, one, if you're dumb enough to sign up for this, we'll take you. And second, he said, doesn't somebody your age have better things to do than run 100-mile races? And to which I had no comment, right? I could go fishing, go hike, and do whatever. But I did the first one, and I went 63 miles, and I was like, yeah, this is crazy. And I came back a couple of years later and finished it. So it's all good. But now it's not the same, though. I mean, don't they have like 400 runners at Leadville now? Crazy. And
I think a Lifetime Fitness, one of those big investment bought it, and it's kind of running it kind of like a Ironman. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Meaning you can purchase your way into it.
Oh,
is that right?
I don't know.
Something like that. But,
well, they have the mountain bike series, and they've got the running series,
right?
All kinds of different events over the course of summer. But I'm not really in the loop on those things.
But I would love to run Leadville someday as well, Dr. Jensen. I think that'd be really neat.
If you guys get a wild hair and you want to go up to Alaska and do a 50K in February, I could put a couple more guys together. I mean, not that Dick and I could keep up with you, Andrew, but we could have fun before, after, and all that. All right, guys. Well, hey, I do want to thank you for jumping on, talking running, talking podiatry. Appreciate it. I'm going to send each of you one of these Dean's Chat mugs. Yeah, you're definitely going to need some caffeine to release those free fatty acids,
Very nice. Thank you so much.
All right,
Dr.
thank
Jensen.
you. Oh, you guys are welcome. To all of our listeners out there on Spotify and Apple, please give us a 5-star rating, perhaps leave a comment or 2. And if you're watching on YouTube, by all means, become a subscriber. We will continue to bring you leaders in podiatric medicine, young practitioners, seasoned veterans like Dick and me. So stay tuned for more Dean's Chat. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.